why are there so many houses for sale? When in reality, they've always been there. You know what I mean? Like you just weren't paying attention. The lack of clarity on what all we do in our profession, and that leads to a lack of understanding and ultimately a lack of appreciation. What's crazy is this number is wild to me that a homeowner has 33 times the net worth of somebody that has rented long term. Take responsibility for your little corner of the world, man.
What's up, guys? Lift and Love. Lift and Love here. Where did you pull this question from? Why is that? Lift Love. Crochet. We out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lifting Love podcast. You are awesome. And before we start, I got to thank our sponsors, Lake Hickory Pub and Marina. Lake Hickory Pub and Marina, where lake and life meet. For more information on them, check the description below. Shout out to them for allowing us to film here. Today, we have an interesting one. We have a fun one, honestly. We have the owner and broker in charge of Osborne Real Estate Group. It's Garret Osborne. How are you, my friend?
Man, doing awesome. It's a rainy Monday, but I mean, I think you got to appreciate the rain in order to enjoy the sunshine. So
100%. We're going to do a little...
Yeah.
That applause button goes crazy,
yeah, I love
dude.
it. Like the horn, like the meh, meh, meh.
Dude, I try to use it as much as possible.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't know it existed until accidentally I clicked it once, and I was like,
wait a minute.
So, where I want to start, for people who don't know you, who might not know you, maybe they live under a rock, that's fine. For people who don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
Oh man, I'll kind of do the two truths and a lie here. No, I'm kidding. But my name's Garret Osborne. Like you mentioned earlier, owner and broker in charge of Osborne Real Estate Group. But I don't like titles as much. I'm kind of have imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? So
100%.
I'm kind of like why me? Why did I end up in this position? But no, nonetheless, I'm born and raised in Hickory. Actually grew up. Always had a Hickory address, but grew up in that little niche of or little slice of Caldwell County that still had a Hickory address. So born and raised in Caldwell County, had a Hickory address over here in Gunpowder.
Interesting.
Lived off Grace Chapel Road in North Lakes. Went to Caldwell County schools, Granite Elementary, Granite Middle, South Caldwell, all the way up until my senior year of high school. Transferred to Hickory High. Went to Hickory High for 1 year.
Wow.
So still kind of claim South Caldwell as the alma mater, but or alma mater, for some people would say. But did graduate from Hickory High, so I guess go Red Tornadoes. But I get to claim both, So go, South Caldwell Spartans and Hickory Red Tornadoes. So
I think it's so weird how the map is laid out here, especially Hickory. Like Hickory in general, it's like it had a great foundation, and then someone came and said, let's put half a road here, a couple blocks there.
Oh, don't make me explain it, because I've got the definition.
I mean, we have nothing but time.
Exactly.
Go
So
ahead.
leave it for the real estate agent to show up and explain to you how the streets of Hickory make sense. So we'll table that for just a minute. But nonetheless, graduated from Hickory High. Had some. How vulnerable are we getting on the podcast? But
we can listen. We can go as deep or as
let's
shallow
go.
as you want.
So had some personal struggles my senior year. My parents actually went through a divorce and was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with life. Was hoping to play baseball long term. Some of my dreams of playing professional baseball were a little bit shorter lived than others, but had to kind of call baseball quits after I played a little bit briefly in college, but not very long. And then after that, it was kind of an epiphany I guess a wake up call of like, hey, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I had never really thought about, am I going to be a business owner, or am I going to work for somebody, or, what's the, what are the next, 5, 10, 15, 20 years of my life look like? Had never really had anybody sit me down and ask those pointed, intentional questions. And realistically, out of not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life, I kind of started asking, why not questions. And so that's whenever had somebody sit me down and ask me, well, why don't you go get your real estate license? And, what's the worst, that could happen, or it can't hurt, and that's where, I kind of started making a couple it can't hurt decisions and started real estate class in 2011. I was at CVCC, was a full-time student. I had just stopped playing baseball and decided to go to real estate school. Actually was doing real estate class on the weekends, going to CVCC Monday through Friday as a full-time student, and then ended up getting my real estate license just after 2012. And so now going on, I guess, 13 years, almost 14 years.
Wow.
And so that really all kind of in that same time period, met my now wife, then girlfriend of a couple, like a year, I mean, whatever. How we started dating in 2012. So right around in there. So
if I could go back for a second, as someone else who has experienced, like my parents separated as well.
Yeah.
How old were you?
18.
You're 8. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
almost exactly the same as me. I graduated high school and they split.
Yep.
How did that affect you? And did it kind of not derail? I don't want to say derail, but did it kind of make you maybe push you in a different direction than you were on right there?
I would say, yeah. I mean, in a way. I mean, I think that it localized a lot of my decision making. Because at that point in time, my parents were splitting up, and you kind of start to have these what is a man thoughts.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I didn't have a girlfriend, a fiance, a wife, children, like didn't have any of those things, but at the same time, the most important female figure in my life was my mom. Yeah. And so a lot of the decisions that I made at that point in time in my life were, okay, I need to, really kind of, not necessarily like in a abandonment way, but it was kind of like, okay, maybe I need to, stay a little bit more local in order to, make sure that she's all right, make sure that she kind of, handles this next stage in her life pretty well, or as well as she can, So, because my older two brothers, one lives in Fayetteville, career military, the other one lives in, at the time he lived in Ohio, but has recently moved back to, I say recently, within the past 8 years, has moved back to Chapel Hill.
Oh, wow.
So they live, 3-4 hours away. Whenever I was junior, senior in high school, I was, plans to go to Clemson or South Carolina, ECU, Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
I had applied all over, applied to Alabama and Ole Miss just for the heck of it. So it was kind of one of those things where it's just like, how far away can I go for college? And then so I went from, really one of the closest schools that I applied to was, I think, Chapel Hill and Clemson.
Wow.
So it shifted very quickly to me going to CVCC for 2 years. I think that it was all kind of in the chaos of, my senior year. I had a sports injury that had kind of, derailed me a little bit as far as baseball was concerned. I had to have my appendix taken out my senior year of high school, and it was a little bit of a unique experience. But
bro, this is gonna sound so crazy.
Yep.
But I literally had the same exact thing.
No way.
I swear, you need to stop.
Yeah.
Literally, that's crazy. Anyway, parents split after high school.
Yep.
I got my appendix taken out my senior year.
Yep.
That's incredible. Anyway, sorry. So like, you were just like, I'm gonna go after it, and then that happened. Your parents split up, and then it's like, I'm gonna stay local. And then you were telling me that you went to App.
Yep.
So you're at CVCC full time. You're doing your real estate stuff on the side.
Yep.
When does App happen?
So, graduated from high school, going to CVCC, in class there. Meet my now wife, Brooke.
I need to hear that story real quick before we go to App.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, it was literally the textbook case of slid in the DMs. And so this, we're talking like early stages of Facebook.
Oh, gosh.
You remember like cruising? You remember cruising on 70? Or you're not from here.
I'm a Yankee.
Man.
I'm a Yankee.
I'm about to educate you on something. So cruising on 70, it used to be a thing. I don't know if it is anymore. I haven't investigated this particular activity, but people would literally drive up and down Highway 70, like literally just drive, down Highway 70, turn around, and come back.
Oh, hold on. Yes, I think this still is a thing, except now it's more like, I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but it's more like younger people who are just like driving and speeding and racing. very similar to
I
that?
wouldn't say it's evolved much. I mean, so yeah, or devolved much.
It's the same thing we did.
Yeah,
just
it's the
now.
same thing. We're just gonna. I mean, as a classic 30-year-old, I'm gonna make it sound a lot more fun when we did it.
You should have been there. There
Yep.
were fireworks, and
it was way cooler. Underglow was still a thing. Like Fast and Furious movies were still cool.
Are you talking? Okay, so there was a group of like cars that they drive up and down 70, and then they go meet at like the Walmart. It's same thing?
Yeah, there were the
okay.
meets. Now we didn't have like we drove like Jeeps, and so like we didn't really have like meetups yet because like the whole like Wrangler crew or like society wasn't a thing yet. And I had a Grand Cherokee, so I wasn't even in that club. So I wasn't
You weren't cool.
I wasn't cool. Yeah. So. But anyway, nonetheless,
Slid in the DMs.
Like we drove by each other on 70. It happened to be during the day. Like I was leaving the mall, she was headed to the mall, and I looked over. I was like, "That girl's got it going on." And so me and my buddy, I'll give a shout out to my boy Vitali. Vitali's like, he's like, turn around. So we turn around in the middle of Highway 70 and like creepily stalked these two girls in the mall. But I mean, I was 17. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I mean, like, so, and then slid in the DMs, and one thing led to another. I mean, I think it took,
Hold on. So you didn't even approach her
I
when
couldn't
you saw
find her in the mall. I mean, but I knew who she was.
Okay.
And
just to clarify, you weren't stalking because you couldn't find them.
couldn't find her. Yeah. I feel. Does stalking have to be successful in order to be considered stalking?
Fun fact: they didn't even go to the mall. No, I'm just
Yeah. No. So we'll cut that part out too.
or we keep it in.
Who knows? Yeah.
Okay. So how'd you know who she was?
I mean, Facebook was a thing. I mean, like social media. It's like you're just like baseball community. I mean, it was just kind of one of those things where like I knew friends of hers, and I played baseball with like her cousin. I mean, it was just kind of like one of those things where you just
you knew of her. You just haven't like.
I'd never met her in person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'd never met her in person, but like you hang out with a certain group of people. Eventually, you're gonna
know everybody.
Yeah.
So what was that DM? I want to know the exact.
So
line
we have
if
the
you can
same. We have the same birthday.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Which is
December 19th. So
hold on.
Let's go. When's your birthday?
No, it's not my birthday. I'm April, baby.
All right.
That would be insane. But
Insane. That'd be nuts.
So you guys have the same birthday.
Have the same birthday, and I was like, "Yo, that's a cool birthday," and
no, you did not.
it worked. He got a response, but
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And we still tell that story 15 years later, but but the same birthday thing, it's cool 364 days a year, but
on that day.
on the day, well,
it sucks.
yeah. Well, I also like big surprises, and I like big gifts,
Yeah.
so I think that I don't really subscribe to the whole like there are only 5 love languages kind of thing, but nonetheless it's like I really enjoy that part of it. And but we can't surprise each other. Like, what am I going to do? Be like, hey, don't surprise anything from me, or plan any surprises for me. You know what I mean? So like, because wink, wink, don't do anything for me for my birthday.
Okay, is that the most frustrating part about having someone else have your birthday, especially your significant other? Because it's different. Like, so. Like, I've known people who had birthdays. Like, my wife's birthday is 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah.
She's the 13th of December.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Ours is 6 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, or I have it. My neighbor growing up, I looked at him like a little brother.
Yeah.
He was the 26th. So it was the day after Christmas.
That'd be terrible.
So it's like, damn, right? You're so close. Or like even like holidays and stuff, but Christmas specifically.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but sharing with a holiday is one thing, but sharing your birthday with another human who happens to be someone very close to you, is it challenging?
All right. So pros outweigh the cons, because like pros are like, it's kind of like another anniversary kind of thing, where you know what I mean. And
that's a good way of thinking of it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Kind of take the expectation off of it.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, it's just like I would say the not necessarily the letdown, but the disappointing part of it is that like when we go to give gifts, it's like an exchanging of gifts.
It's like, hey, thank you.
It's like, oh, you open one, now I'll open one. Now you open one, now I'll open one. And so the exchange of gifts is a little bit. I mean, not necessarily. It's lackluster.
Yeah.
But the most frustrating piece for me, at least, is the fact that like we're in our 30s now. I mean, whenever I was turning 21 and she was turning 20, that was naturally a challenge. Because I was like, yo, it's my birthday. Like,
your birthday's taking a back seat this year.
So, and then she did, which we kind of traded off. Like whenever I turned 30, she threw me a 30th birthday party, and then fast forward a year because she's exactly a year younger than I am. So
that's
I get to do all the birthdays first.
So you guys literally from that moment, from that DM,
yep.
have always been together ever since? Other
than like a 3-month period of time where I'd lost my mind in college and decided to break up with her, and then immediately realized that it was a bad idea, and then got back with her. So
oh my gosh. So anyway,
she was gracious enough to take me back. But
what were you thinking? No,
I know, right? That's what she said.
Yeah. Literally. So back to CVCC. We'll talk about your wife here in a second.
Yep.
Back to CVCC and going to App. How'd you end up going to App?
Well, so I mean, growing up, I was my uncle, my brother, my cousin, both my brothers, my mom, everybody went to Chapel Hill, and to the point where we were so deeply embedded in University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill that my uncle's best friend is Roy Williams. And
whoa.
Yeah, whoa. Hold up.
Pause.
Yeah, pause. Yep.
How?
They were business partners. Roy Williams' parents and my uncle got into business together back in the 70s. And then he was a developer, golf course developer, residential developer in the Asheville area, where Roy's parents actually lived. So in the neighborhood that my uncle lived in for a long time, which is a development that he actually built, Roy Williams' parents lived 2 doors down. And so there were a couple times whenever the way that the scheduling and everything lined up for basketball, if Chapel Hill either didn't have a tournament over Thanksgiving or Christmas, we would just be hanging out at my uncle's house for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever we'd be up there for, and Roy Williams would just stroll through the front door. And
that's gotta be legendary. But anyway, continue. So are you the only person in your family?
Only one did not go to Chapel Hill, other than my dad. My dad was in the trades. He was a contractor, and just never. Yeah.
So wow. Then, so in a point, you're kind of like the disappointment of the family.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
Yeah, I'm the disappointing one. So
you're not a Tar Heel.
Yeah, come on now. No, and then whenever I met Brooke, she was like, I don't know where you're going to school or where you're, transferring after this, but she was like, I'm going to App. And I was like, I guess I need to apply to App. So applied to Appalachian State University, and, the rest was history.
So she also went there as well?
Yeah, she had always wanted to I hate to throw shade on my school teachers here because we have a lot of school teachers that we're very good friends with, and we have a lot of clients that are school teachers. I mean, in no way, shape, or form throwing shade on my school teachers. She wanted to be a secondary education teacher her entire life. Wanted to teach high school calculus, and I was like, that's a noble quest. That's a very, very noble idea. That's not going to pay you a lot of money, and
ain't gonna be me, dog.
and that's gonna be very challenging for the amount of money that you're gonna make. And I was like, I hate to paint the picture that way, but she got into her first semester as a high school, as learning to be a high school calculus teacher, and saw some of the insurance majors, and we're like, that's a better idea.
And the salary outlook is okay.
Yeah, you mean wait a minute, and so I mean, because it
is crazy real quick, and I mean this is a polarizing issue, but teachers should be paid more.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean,
you're in charge of the future generations.
100%. I mean, I think that I will stand on my head and jump up and down on the soapbox all day long that our education system needs a little bit of a revamp, but at the same time, our educators in general. I mean, I think that that doctors and educators should be paid the same.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, 100%. To there's levels. I feel like a surgeon. It's kind of like there's a differentiating. I mean, but 100% agree.
If you're
with
an oncologist or an orthopedic surgeon, then maybe you're not making the same amount of money as an elementary school teacher.
But the fact that there are teachers in the poverty line, that's insane.
It's wild to me. Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine. First off, couldn't imagine doing the job if I'm not going to be compensated. Obviously.
Yep.
But there's just so much.
I don't think that there should be a crucial aspect of our economy and our society. Like, I mean, education as a whole is a fabric of our society.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it makes up an entire, let's just, use an analogy here. It makes up an entire quilt or a tapestry, but, education is one fabric of that. And I don't think there should be any fabric of our society where the people that are involved in that particular career path have to love it just to do it.
Or literally have to get a summer job to survive.
Yeah.
I know teachers, I've met teachers who in 3 months in the summer will make more money than they do all year.
Yeah.
Just do the teaching because they absolutely love it.
They absolutely love it. And that's what I was saying, that like you shouldn't have to love it to do it.
Yeah.
There should be other motivators in order
100%.
to be an educator. And that, because you always have everybody always talks like, oh, you're a teacher, you must love you must love kids, and it's like you have to. I mean, like, I don't think that we should be in a position where you have to say that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And
well, I mean, look what happened. My wife's a nurse, so I only have conversations that I can relate to. Like, look what happened a couple years ago with the nursing bubble.
Yep.
If COVID didn't happen, nurses aren't making appropriately what they should have been making all this time.
Yep.
But now my wife gets the benefit of making a good living because, unfortunately, people before her had to make less because they loved what they did. And now the salary of nurses have increased.
Oh, yeah.
It's 100% going to happen with teachers in the future. I hope, my word, my mouth to God's ears, You do also a lot with the educational stuff as well. Where did that principle of like wanting to help like the youth come from? Did that come from App? Did that come from like seeing the educational system?
In a way, I mean, like not necessarily like my view. You don't want to get my viewpoint on the educational system. We'll be here all day. Literally. I mean, so and when I say educational system, I'm not talking about like the framework of elementary, middle school. It's more so of like the modern day university.
That's crazy.
But we'll save that for another.
Yeah,
we'll save that for another
podcast
day.
number 2.
Yeah, that's polarizing podcast number 2. But anyway,
that's the one you pay for. That's on the Patreon.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I think that for me it was more and I'm not. I mean, like I don't want to belittle anybody in my life. You know what I mean? But whenever I say that, like I've never really had like a mentor. I had, a great family growing up. I mean, I had my mom and my dad were both a very big part of my life. Mm-hmm. They were married until I was 18. I mean, so the idea that I had anything shy of a phenomenal childhood or upbringing would be false. I mean, so, I was raised we were raised in a Christian household. We went to church on Sundays. I was involved in youth sports. I mean, like, you look at all the check boxes, and it was, and I was checking them. I mean, so I was very fortunate growing up to have the opportunities that I had. But then once it got to a certain point, it was just kind of like now's the next step. Now it's time to do this or it's time to do that. But I've never even within the business community, I've never had anybody that's like I've had people that have given me advice from time to time or, maybe role models here and there, but it's never been like hey, I'm going to take you under my wing and kind of show you the ropes.
Yeah.
So in large part, I've been, really just kind of figuring things out as I go and just kind of, being enough of a trailblazer to just kind of burn my own path. And, I figured if you do enough of that, you might, make a few people mad along the way, but ultimately you're going to get where you need to go.
100%.
So I think that there's just a lot of conversations that I've learned over or ideas and things and lessons that I've learned over, when I say over the years, I mean, I don't want to age myself because I'm not that old. I mean, so.
But your cane's right over there.
Yeah, right.
With your arthritis
medication.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, now if I sleep a little funny, I got to stretch a little more before I get up and go in the morning. But you sleep on the wrong side of the bed. I mean, you'll have a crick in your neck for like a week. The other day I sneezed and threw out my back. But
did you actually?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, like I sneezed the other day and I was like, I'm gonna feel that one tomorrow. And then you just kind of feel it bending over. Like, you got small kids, you know what it's like. Just picking them up.
You're like, oh gosh.
Yeah,
it's like
you
a weird move.
You got to hinge right just to get them down in the crib. You know what I mean?
Engage
you
the hips.
Plant one hand on the knee whenever you go to get up and all. Because I do feel like there's a need for a plug here.
Because, I know exactly where you're going.
Well, you'd asked the question of like, kind of what motivated me to, get involved with education. And for me, it's not the education piece. It's more so the guidance and the mentorship piece. And so I would say that not that I'm not passionate about education as a whole, but you really kind of where my passion sits is in that mentorship and kind of coaching adolescent and very impressionable, I say kids, but I mean, at 17, 18, 19 years old, I mean, I would probably be offended if somebody called me a kid. So young adults.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I'm 27. You've been a mentor for me.
I'm
working out
but
with
I'm
me.
I'm still a kid.
But 100%. But like, it doesn't have to be a child just for you to be a mentor.
Correct. Yeah.
Or someone that someone could look up to.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you've helped me on my journey that I'm doing, and I view you as a mentor.
I appreciate that.
So it's like it don't have to be a child necessarily.
True. Yeah. But so I actually got involved with the Catawba Valley Leadership Foundation back in it's been 4 or 5 years now, and so
what were you about to say? Like last year?
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I started to say like 2000, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can't. Let's just count. And so I think it's been 4 or 5 years, and so really kind of what's kind of birthed a lot of that motivation and passion for kind of that young adult segment of mentorship is their Strong Student Leader program. So, I mean, it's a phenomenal program. I'm very heavily involved, one, just because I love it. But two, I see the impact that it has. We're now in 13 area high schools. And so we mentor 30 to 40 students a year. We coach them through their spring semester of their junior year and the fall semester of their senior year. Awesome. I mean, so what is that? How many students is that a year? I mean, between 30 and 40 at 10 schools is 350, 360. Between, I guess, 350 and 400 students a year.
That's incredible.
Which I'm just one volunteer.
Yeah.
We have 3 volunteers at South Caldwell alone. I mean, so,
let's just.
And there's I say the ladies over at the Leadership Foundation that manage all of that. I could name all of them, but they go on to the website. They're all listed there. So
we'll actually put the link in the description below.
Yeah.
So make sure you go check it out. It is an incredible organization. It's funny. I was talking to someone, right? So like we had met, and then you told me about it at like kind of like the surface level.
Yep.
Talked to a friend who knew a couple of the people.
Yeah.
And then like a week or two ago at the Leeds meeting, I met like one of the people who does it. I'm awful with names. I forgot her name.
Yep.
But lovely lady. She was telling me about it.
Yep.
And like it's just so funny how like once it's in your atmosphere,
it just
you just hear it a million times.
It keeps coming back around. Yeah.
It's like when you buy a new car. Like I just bought a new car. I see that car everywhere now.
Yep. So
everywhere.
If you're house shopping, you'll see all of the real estate signs, and you're like, why are there so many real estate signs?
The housing market's crazy.
Yeah. Why are there so many houses for sale? When in reality, they've always been there. You know what I mean? Like you just weren't paying attention. So.
Was there anything else you wanted to add on?
No, that was it. I mean, like that was just really kind of the piece that I wanted to plug in there. I mean, because I don't want to claim the 100% of the what is the word that I'm looking for? The credit. I was going to say credibility. I don't want to claim 100% of the credit for this passionate about this. I mean, like at the end of the day, I just hopped on that train. I mean, so that was a train that was in motion long before I came along, and now I'm involved as I can be. I mean, I sit on the board of directors for the Leadership Foundation, very involved with the development of the Strong Student Leader program,
100%. Getting
some additional tools and things like that implemented. But at the end of the day, I'm just there at a distance, providing what input and opinions, whether they're wanted or not, whatever they're called on. So,
it leads me to my next question. Community. You were born and raised here. You lived here your whole life. What's one of the most for you in your experience? Like for me, outside looking in, like they were still kind of building the City Walk when I first came here. I've been here almost 4 years.
Yep.
Now that it's finished, like that's incredible, right? Like that's my.
Yeah.
I was here when like the City Walk didn't exist when I first got here.
Yep.
And then it came to fruition. So like for you being here as long as you have, what is one of your favorite things about the change that has come? Because it's changed quite drastically.
Oh, it's changed tremendously. I mean, like, so if you were to rewind 7 years, I mean, so my wife and I got engaged in 2017, and then from October of 2017 to like February, March of 2018. I mean, so we're talking like a 6-month period of time, which, I mean, I think the positive change and some of the adaptations and the developments in Hickory for that shift in mindset. Otherwise I wouldn't be here today. I mean, we were looking at houses and, you know, we're like, hey, when we get married, where are we going to live?
Yeah.
And
what were the other options?
The options were Mooresville, Denver, you know, perimeter of Charlotte. I mean, so at that point in time, I mean, like, you know, everything, you know, that we had kind of ever really been exposed to was kind of a departure from Hickory as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, because you look back on it, I mean, so in 2015, 16, 17, whenever we graduated in 2016. I should have graduated in 15 for the record, but app was so much fun that I just stuck around for another year. So, or I tell my wife that I just yeah, right. I tell my wife that I just really wanted to graduate with her. So, you know, I sandbagged.
You're really trying to get yourself in the doghouse after this episode.
So, but nonetheless, there's a really, I don't know what it was. There was a couple opportunities that kind of presented themselves that made us hang on to Hickory.
Yeah.
That ultimately led us to kind of hanging on to the area. You know, but for me as a young real estate agent just graduating from college, I'm like, you know, let's go to Charlotte or, you know, let's go to here and, you know, just be the big dog and just, you know, go sell all the houses and blah, blah, blah. You know, that was the mindset. I mean, so it was, you know, bigger, better, you know, more hustle, more bustle, you know, let's go to, you know, a place that's, you know, offers more opportunity. And, you know, I think that once you kind of let things settle down and you look around at what opportunity actually exists in Hickory, I mean, it's tremendous. I mean, and so I think that Hickory suffered a pretty big blow from really early 2000s from the departure and the exodus of all the furniture manufacturing and things along those lines. We won't get into all the economics, but you kind of had a little bit of a loss of identity in post 2000, 2001 is whenever a lot of that, you know, the exodus of a lot of the manufacturing, a lot of that manufacturing was shipped overseas. And then, you know, for everything from furniture to textiles. And then, you know, the real blow kind of happened in 2009 whenever, you know, obviously you had a global economic crisis as a result of the real estate market collapse.
Yeah.
And so I think that you have, you know, it's been like, okay, 2001, you know, furniture leaves, and then Hickory's kind of, you know, struggling to redevelop or reestablish itself. And then 2009 happens, and then now the entire globe is, you know, suffering from a financial crisis. And so I think you had about a 20-year period of time where Hickory as a whole just didn't really have sense of direction or sense of, you know, identity, really. I mean, because whenever you put all of your eggs in a basket that caters to not the highest income producers, which I'm not saying that, you know, manufacturer labor and things like that isn't valuable, you know, but we didn't have tech, we didn't have data, we didn't have major medical, we didn't have, you know, a lot of the, you know, the industries that really catered to a lot of your higher income producing people.
No, for sure.
And so it was just, I mean, you were either a business owner or you worked in manufacturing. And that was really kind of it for a long time. And now I think that Hickory has done, I mean, you know, I don't know whether it's serendipitous. I don't know whether it's a stroke of luck. But I think it's a combination of, you know, good decision making, you know, very, very healthy investments from a city standpoint. So I applaud the people that are making those decisions. I mean, our mayors, our council members, are the people that are kind of leading, you know, that ship. I mean, I think they've done a very good job. You know, you've
100%.
got some setbacks like the arches falling, you know, but hey, I loved the arches. I mean, that was I'll go ahead and put that on the record that I thought the arches, which nobody really understood what they mean. If you really look into it, it was they were DNA strands. They weren't meant to be arches.
Wait, the ones that collapsed weren't meant to be arches?
They were DNA strands. So they were, the way that they wove together, it was strands of DNA that were meant to symbolize like where we came from and where we're headed. It was the old and the new.
So put that on the checklist of
Let's
that
go.
doesn't work.
Yeah, of like that didn't work. Well, it was just maybe a lapse in engineering that, you know, maybe wood structure wasn't the the most lightweight thing to withstand a 90-mile-an-hour windstorm. But
I do want to go hop right into Osborne Real Estate Group. I know you guys, first off, you guys do a million things. But before we get into all that you do, what's the inception of it? Like, when did it actually, like, when was it incepted? Incepted? Is that the right term? When was the inception of Osborne Real Estate Group? And what do you guys do as far as services?
So at Osborne Real Estate Group, we were founded in realistically 2018 is whenever we became independently owned and operated, free of any other franchise or ownership. So we tested a partnership in Mooresville for some time. That ended up not working out, and then we relocated headquarters.
Big shot.
Yeah, there we go. No, we relocated back to our office in Hickory in 2018, in August of 18, which is wild. So we did all this. My wife and I got married on August 18th. I remember that date. So I'm not going to forget my anniversary date. So that's one thing that's very good is I'll never forget my anniversary or my wife's birthday. So
well, okay, the birthday part, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to hear.
So
when was your first date?
January 14th.
I hope that was the wrong date.
I know, right? Come on now.
Just so you can get some crap from your wife. But anyway, what exactly all do you guys do? Obviously, there's a real estate side. But I feel like lately, especially like for Connect for a Cause, you kind of have dabbled into this space to be able also closing for a cause.
Yeah, everything's kind of for a cause.
Exactly.
So
you guys are kind of like dabbling in like the helping the community and doing all that. So all the services you guys offer, if you can rattle them all off.
Yeah, so rattling off the real estate firm, it's not a novel idea. So we're a locally owned real estate firm operating in the greater Catawba Valley area. We have 18 agents that work for our firm, including Robin and myself. We have 2 full-time employees, Nicole, who's right here with us. So give Nicole a round of applause. And Melissa. Melissa's the one that keeps the ship afloat. Literally, so she's the one that, kind of keeps us all alive, make sure that I'm still breathing. And so, but nonetheless, we've got 18 amazing agents. We primarily specialize in residential sales. So about 90% of our business, depending on the year, is focused in residential real estate sales, handling buyers, sellers through the real estate transaction. We also have kind of an arm or an effort within the firm to handle small and medium scale development, where we work with builders within our local community to handle the sale of small and medium sized development within the region. So that would be anything from, which we've got a couple. I can't, for non-disclosure reasons, I can't say anything about the particular projects that we have in the pipeline right now, but we've got a couple projects that we're working on that are between 50 and 100 units. Awesome. So that's kind of where that's a new development of our particular firm, but it's going to be exciting. So we'll be able to kind of be more integrated or more instrumental in some of the development within the community. So focusing on making sure that it's sustainably developed. I think that development is a good thing, but you've got to obviously make sure that it's done well. Yeah. So that's residential sales, residential development, and then, how deep do you want to go into what all I do on a daily basis? We've got.
I'm just so curious, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm just so curious. Like, you started this journey as like a side hustle, right? Kind of getting into it, kind of seeing what other options were out there with school and all that stuff. Did you ever think that it would be where it is now?
I always kind of thought that I was going to, have a career in real estate. I didn't really know because I feel like the real estate agent as a whole gets a bad reputation.
For sure.
It's like, I couldn't make it in this particular job, so I'm going to be a hairdresser. And then couldn't make it as a hairdresser, so I'm going to go be a real estate agent. And so you see all the TikToks and stuff like that, where it's, and there was even a Scrubs episode where, she's crying because, being a doctor was too hard, and she was like, I'm going to have to go get my real estate license. And so, the profession as a whole, which, at the end of the day, they're no different than any other career. There's bad doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad real estate agents, but ultimately, I think that the real estate profession kind of positions itself at kind of a precipice where a lot kind of culminates around the real estate profession as a whole. And that's really what I love about the job is that, from any given day, I might be on the phone with Hank Guest, the mayor. You're dealing with so many different people throughout a day that, you're talking with this person and that person. We're on podcasts. So it's the job is so, widely versed as far as what's needed of us at any given point in time, that no day looks the same. But ultimately, we kind of find ourselves in this position of, I guess, I'm trying to think of the word that I'm looking for here, just position of value, because we have to, in order to be valuable, we have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm like, very, very, that I work very hard at is making sure that before things happen, before, developments happen, before, shovels and buckets go into dirt, that, we know, hey, somebody calls me up. They're like, oh, what's going on 127? I heard that's going to be an In-N-Out. I'm like, no, it's not In-N-Out. In-N-Out wouldn't particularly prioritize the East Coast. But we do know that it's a Whataburger. So you've got kind of, situations like that. People ask me all the time, like, what's going on here? What's going on there? And it's fun to know those things. It's fun to kind of be in a position where, people call you when they want to know something. So that's the, I guess, when you ask the question of like, did I always, think that it would end up like this? But I think I always knew that I would have a career in real estate, but I don't think that I ever knew what it would look like.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I knew what doors it would open, because it has opened a lot of doors and, kind of breeds more opportunity. And, that's where, just kind of somebody that always likes to take advantage of opportunity. Anytime that something comes along, it's, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, you have to stop saying yes to people. And
there's this magical word called
no. Yep. The power of the word no. And I haven't learned the word yet. So it's usually just like you find new ways to burn the candle. And some people are like, oh, you're just burning the candle at both ends. We're burning it in the middle, baby. Let's go. We're just lighting that thing on fire any way we can. So
what is your favorite and least favorite thing about being a real estate agent / owning your own agency?
I would say, least favorite thing about owning a brokerage, is that's a tough one. I would say they probably go hand in hand. Because as a realtor, you are a business owner in and of yourself. The idea, because I own and operate, but I'm also a broker owner. All the different terms. I still produce. So I still, 75% of my efforts consist of, selling houses. We still have clients as well. I still have clients. So I'm, my name's still going on signs. I'm still taking buyers around and showing them houses. So have a showing this afternoon at 5. So, I'm still involved in that level of activity. But I think that one of the things I would probably say is the least favorite thing. I'll start with the least. Least favorite thing is the lack of clarity on and that kind of the lack of clarity on what all we do in our profession, and that leads to a lack of understanding and ultimately a lack of appreciation. Because
you guys do way more than people give you guys credit for.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that ultimately, if we do our job well, it seems like we didn't do anything at all. and that's where, we don't want to bombard or, kind of bog down a client with like, hey, I did this. Just want to let you know. I sent this email. Just want to let you know. I just had a 45-minute conversation with this person about your house. And I think that that's really, kind of the challenging piece about it is because, a lot of the glamorous work happens on the front end. And then a lot of the, kind of monotonous, you just kind of, grinding away work happens on the back end, post contract. And that's where if we do a good job and we do our job well, it seems easy. And, while, there are the clients that, see that we've struggled with this and struggled with that and had a hard time with this and they appreciate that. I would say ultimately it's just, and I'm trying to say this tactfully. Sometimes you just don't get, and I see this within our agents too, like where I'll have an agent that walks into the office and they're just beat down. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, well, it's like I'm going above and beyond for my client. And then, every time I talk to them, they're just, giving me a hard time about this or a hard time about that. And I'm like, sometimes they're just people that you can't please. 100%. Sometimes we've met people that I just feel like don't want to be pleased.
Yeah.
And, so, don't take that personally, but ultimately, on the contrary to that, the best part about the business is the people. And, the good people that we interact with on a daily basis far outweigh the bad 9-1. I mean, so for every 9 great clients we have, for every 9, phenomenal people that we interact with on a daily basis, it's one bad apple. You know what I mean? It's
there's one Karen.
Yeah, right. I haven't, but I can't use, we deal with too many Karens. I mean, like, people actually named Karen. So.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm gonna be like, is he talking about
Karen?
me?
I'm not talking. I'm just kidding.
Karen, I'm talking about you, but I'm not talking about you.
But no, I mean, so it's awesome to be able to, kind of be, because, for instance, I'll give you an example of an agent that we have that came to work for us. He worked for another company local to Hickory. I'm not going to name any names. And recently, no, it's Janet, but I mean, not. I was gonna say it'd be funny if a Karen.
It'd be hilarious if just a Karen. Hey, Karen, we're talking
Karen,
about
so sorry,
you.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Say hello. But so he actually worked for another company locally, and I'm not gonna name his name, but he was recently laid off. Has had his license for 4.5 years. Worked for us for 4.5 years. And sold houses. Kind of dabbled in the real estate industry while also working for that company. Was recently, and he always knew that he was like, once I'm done here, I want to pursue real estate full time. But it was golden handcuff situation. His retirement bonuses, the 401k match, the employment benefits with insurance and all that kind of stuff. It was just too hard for him to leave the guarantee of the company that he worked for to explore the uncertainty of real estate. And so he, got laid off in a budget cut effort, blah, 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 earlier this year. And has gone full bore, just head first into real estate and has done so well with it. Is absolutely killing it. And, talking with him, it's trying to get back to where, it's just when he worked for that other company, it was, he got value out of the people that he worked with. But ultimately, there was you don't see the result of the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the cool pieces about being a real estate agent is that you get a front seat, at the actual work that you're doing, paying off in the lives of other people.
100%.
And that's really cool. That's such a cool aspect of being a real estate agent. Whether it be, first-time home buyers. That's obviously
amazing.
That's the amazing story that, you help somebody achieve home ownership. Because what's crazy is this number is wild to me that a homeowner has 33 times the net worth of somebody that has rented long-term. And so you consider somebody that's never owned a home over the course of their life versus somebody that has owned a home for a long period of time is 33 times higher. And so
is that because they not only, obviously it's a case-to-case basis, but having the home is the investment.
Having the home
and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that because a lot of people see it as like it's a bill or like when we talked, you have to have liquid to replace things and all these things. But the house is the investment.
In a way. So I'll go ahead and throw a curveball at you that your primary residence is the worst investment that you'll ever make.
Ooh.
Man, come on now. But
buy duplexes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding.
But you look at it from that sense, and because if you truly bake down what an investment actually is, your primary residence is not something that's going to return you money.
Yeah, it's like buying a new car. It's like
a car is not an investment.
The minute you walk off the lot, it loses half of its value.
Yeah, it's an asset.
But it's not an investment.
It's not an investment. And your house is one of the most important assets that you will ever have.
But there is a certain point when you get deeper into home ownership that it goes from being an asset to an investment because you can pull from it.
You can leverage it.
Leverage it like we were talking about. So it's a short-term asset, long-term investment.
And so you can, I like that. Yeah.
Come on.
Bam, let's go.
I'm hired.
Applause.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you can, the investment that you make into your home over a long period of time can eventually pay off. But people ask us all the time, they're like, oh, well, is this going to be a good investment? I'm like, if you're looking at your primary residence like it's going to be an investment, you're approaching this all the wrong way. And so we want to make sure that people have the right mindset whenever they go into home ownership.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the home in and of itself as an investment vehicle is not a great idea if you're saying, oh, I'm going to take this money, I'm going to put it in my primary residence in a hope that one day it's going to return me, quote unquote, an investment, whether it be 10 or 15 or whatever that number may be. Now, there were a lot of people that bought houses in 2018, 19, 20, sold them in 22, 23, 24,
for double the price,
and made a killing.
Yeah.
Now, could we ever predict that? No, there's no chance. But it's a forced level of savings that most people don't have the capacity for. And you look at it in that sense of your house is an appreciating asset. Year over year, I could pull the numbers up
because they make more houses, but they don't make more land.
That's right. So,
dude, I got you. Are you hiring? I got you, bro.
Go get your real estate license. So I'll sign you up right now. But ultimately, it's a forced level of savings.
Yeah. Because
over the past 50 years, year over year home values have only declined. I think it's like 2 or 3 times. I could pull up the chart.
Yeah. It's like going to it's like the stock market. It's always a safe bet.
It's always a safe bet.
Literally, I think it's 5 years since the Great Depression.
Yeah.
That for the whole year,
it's gone down.
The stock market has gone down as a whole. And when it goes down, it's like a couple percent.
Yeah. You've obviously got your outliers. Like there was a year in like 1972. You obviously had 2009 and 2010.
Yeah.
There was like an oil scare and like scarcity of crude oil back in the 70s. My mom was in college, and she was like, we couldn't get gas anywhere. I'm just like, sounds crazy, but
that sounds horrifying. That's like if the Wi-Fi went out, we'd be screwed.
But nonetheless, if you look at it from a year-over-year investment, large in part, your home is going to increase in value while decreasing in money if you have a loan on it. It's going to, you're buying down the principal and you're growing the value. So you're creating a delta in between the amount of money that you owe on the property and the amount of money it's worth.
Yeah.
So
short-term long-term investment.
You're
going to use that now.
I might.
Quote that.
If we
Write that down.
If you see that on any social media later on, then it came from Lenny Love. Yep.
Credit Lenny Love. Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Last couple things.
I'm trying to think of where I was headed with that on, just from a sense of like home ownership and just, it was back to the story of getting people in, because home ownership is in large part one of the biggest achievements that most people will make in their entire life.
Yeah.
And realistically, you look at 50 to 60% of the population, that is really what is going to set them apart from the other 50 to 60% of the population, is just being able to afford a home. I think it's absolutely incredible.
Yep. I do have kind of a hard cut for this time, so I do have a couple more questions.
Okay, gotcha.
I want to get right into because
what time we got?
We got about 10 minutes before these cameras cut off.
All right.
Okay.
Are they hot?
They're warming up. Warming up. The time is about 1:05 until they. Okay. Or it's at least 1:10 I've pushed it to, but I don't like to push it too much.
Yep.
Just because I don't want to cut us off in the conversation. Yeah. So last couple questions. Connect for a Cause, I think, is a huge thing that I want to talk about.
Yep.
Because you guys are dabbling into the supporting the community, supporting nonprofits. What was the start of that? And I'm honestly, how has it been? Because that's how we met. We met at a Connect for a Cause.
Yeah.
And it was a tremendous success. One of my clients, Shadow Family Care Center.
Yep.
They were the recipient of it. It was an incredible event, great time. What was the story behind that, and how did that come to light? And then what is the goals with it for next year?
So to kind of start at the top and then work my way back around, one of our more recent, initiatives, efforts, goals, whatever you may want to call it, is just to kind of reiterate and kind of demonstrate that communal giving and like community support can be sustainable. I think that in this all kind of it kind of emerged out of, I won't get too far into this. I know you said we only had another 10 minutes, but like it kind of emerged out of Hurricane Helene. And we, again, I don't want it to be a like, look what I did kind of thing, but I got pretty involved in some of the relief efforts and some of the support and everything that was involved in that, and seeing in a very good way, how much support was, garnered in a matter of 3 days. We're talking about, so in a 36-hour period of time, an effort that literally was in the back parking lot of my office. We raised almost $100,000 worth of material.
Oh, hold on. That's getting close.
So, in 36 hours.
That's incredible.
And so it was wild. We congregated at the Lowe's Food parking lot in Mountain View, and left the Lowe's Food parking lot in Mountain View with 22 trucks, trailers, dump flatbeds with potable water, cases of water, hand sanitizer, medical supplies, whole 9 yards. And so I saw that, and I'm just like, it's crazy the level of resources that can be applied or can be attributed, which I know that's obviously natural disaster. Yeah. So we can't take, the example of natural disaster and span that over the course of an entire year or an entire decade or over a long period of time. But you just look at it from a sense of there's a lot more that we can do.
Yeah. And I think Helene opened a lot of people's eyes in this area, because the people I was talking to, it was people who bought homes were getting told you don't need flood insurance because it never floods.
Yeah.
It happened. And their whole house is gone.
Yeah.
So it's hearing the stories and talking to the people, it's nobody ever thought something like this was going to happen. And then when it did happen, there were so many community efforts as far as even what you're talking about. There was someone from the Lincolnton Airport, the Hickory Airport, flying choppers in.
Yeah. There was
incredible help.
Operation Hilo, and I could go on. I've got a note in my phone of all the people that will forever kind of hold a place of respect in my heart, just as far as what they did during that time.
100%.
And we would be here for an hour if I had to name all the names.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to make that circle back around, what kind of emerged, or what caused Connect for a Cause, or what caused our recent efforts to kind of be more intentional of how can, instead of just picking something at the end of the year and saying, okay, which again, I think that there's obviously it's a biblical idea to tithe and to give generously. But at the end of the day, how do we make it something that's sustainable? How do we make it something that everybody can do, everybody can be a part of, and where everybody can make a little bit of a micro impact? And if that, motivates somebody else to do something similar within their career, within their workplace, within their home, that's really what the idea is there. And Connect for a Cause actually emerged out of our monthly happy hours that we were doing at Duke's. Props John Duke for letting us do it there. We had an awesome time while we were there. But by about the fourth or fifth, happy hour, which, every real estate agent in this side of the Mississippi has, their happy hour, come hang out and network and, so on and so forth. We're seeing the same faces, same people, month in, month out, having the same conversations, how you been, how you doing, how the kids. And, I kind of had an epiphany as I was walking around at one of my own events. I was like, this is pointless. And, I'm just like, I'm the one that paid for this. I'm the one that organized this, and this is pointless. Why do people even show up to this?
Yeah.
And so I was like, we're all getting together. We're all meeting. We're all congregating. We're all networking. And, but essentially we need a reason to do it. If we're going to be here, or we're going to be doing something, let's make it beneficial to the community, or at least beneficial to something. And, that's what really kind of emerged the idea of Connect for a Cause, is we took our already existing, frequency of happy hour meetings, did stretch it out a little bit in order to make the events more intentional. Yeah. But we elevated that to the nonprofit level, where we apply a level of communal giving. We raise money from local businesses in order to support a local nonprofit.
I think it's incredible. I like I said, one of our clients was a recipient. And it was, first off, it was a great event, great time. You have an awesome staff. Shout out, not just because one of them
she's sitting
there.
here.
Yeah. But it was just a great time. And
Yeah.
you know what? It was funny. It didn't feel like a networking event.
Yeah.
But it just naturally happened. You know, you were talking to people. You know, we're taking pictures, obviously, with Rachel. But like, it just didn't feel like a networking event. There was no like, it wasn't forced.
Yeah.
Because you know, a lot of networking events you go to, and it's like, hi guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like speed dating. You know what I mean?
Literally, because what happens? The nonprofits are asking for money. The business owners are looking for more clients. You know, and people are just reconnecting with friends.
Yep.
Those are the three things that happen. But there's no like intentional networking. But here we're coming together for a cause. And honestly, there were people at that event that I haven't seen at other networking events.
Yeah.
So it was cool for me to like go up and meet new faces and new people. And I think that's kind of another point of it was like, how do we get new faces in here? People that we haven't already seen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, the nonprofit obviously has, you know, a little bit of responsibility there too of like, you know, get their people in the door. The business sponsor, which we reach out to a presenting sponsor for all of our events.
Yeah.
The business sponsor, you know, obviously has a responsibility to bring new people to the event. And then we obviously bring our database and our, you know, friends, clients, VIPs, and the people that we know within our sphere get invited and obviously see the events and want to attend. But then we really call on local businesses for a lot of the support in helping us reach our goal. And, you know, that's the next step is, while again, I have to remind myself that I'm not, you know, I don't run a nonprofit for a living.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. Connect for a cause, baby.
You never know. You know, but I think my wife would probably appreciate me selling a few more houses. You know, but at the end of the day, the goal is that, you know, I think with, you know, the amount of effort that we have, you know, in that, we can really turn it into something cool where
100%.
we can, I mean, my goal is between $20,000 and $25,000 per event. And then you're making a lasting impact on local nonprofit organizations that whenever they receive that gift and that contribution, they're able to, I mean, that's a pretty big line item for them. I mean, most nonprofits don't see $25,000 individual donations
at one
ever.
time.
Yeah. I mean, some of them don't. I mean, like you have obviously the American Heart Association and, you know, other big nonprofits that receive corporate level donations, but most of our nonprofits in our area are very grassroots and have very noble efforts. I mean, you know, they're doing very, you know, very amazing things. I mean, and they're working off the, you know, $100 monthly donations from, you know, their tried and true donors. But, you know, I think that we could really elevate that to, I mean, be something that would, I mean, again, I'm very proud of the, you know, the point that we've reached already, but I think that that's something that we can do is elevate that up, you know, up a notch.
Yeah. So last couple things here. How do people, if a nonprofit wants to be involved, or how can anyone be involved with the Connect for a Cause? And then also, how can people find you guys, the real estate side, on social media and stuff like that? So
social media for Osborne Real Estate Group is as it sounds. They can go to osbornereg.com or Osborne Real Estate Group on any social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You know, they can look up me, everything backlinks together. So, you know, we're the king of SEO. So, you know, everything all circumvents one way back, or, you know, one way, shape, or form back to where it needs to go. So, I mean, Osborne Real Estate Group is very easy to find. Yeah. As far as Connect for a Cause, they can search that on Facebook or email us directly at either info, or I'll give Melissa's information out here. They can email Melissa at osbornereg.com for more information on that. So that'd either be whether or not you want to be what we call our support partner, which is the recipient or the nonprofit that we're supporting at that particular event, or the presenting sponsor, which would be a business sponsor that would be kind of like the keynote at the event. Or if you just want to donate to the cause as in general, you know, there's basically 3 ways to get involved in that aspect.
I love that. And then the absolute last question that we ask every single guest who's been on. For someone watching this right now, what's the best piece of advice that you can give them?
Take responsibility for your little corner of the world, man. I mean, I think that as a society, we've kind of lost sight of the fact that you have a responsibility for the people around you and the environment around you. You know, so I don't really remember where I heard it. I mean, I could probably name a couple philosophers along the way. But, I think that we all too often forget that we have a responsibility to improve the lives of the people that are around us. Whether that's be a business owner and, hire good people, support your people, and lift up your people, or whether it's just your household that you're responsible for. But, you've got a responsibility to improve the lives of those that are around you. And I think if you lean into that, then it's going to come back around full circle.
I love that so much. Shout out to Garret Osborne from Osborne Real Estate Group. Thank you so much for your time. Obviously, you're a very busy person.
Shoot, it's just it's all podcasts these days. I'm just kidding.
Dude, he like had to pencil us in. But shout out to them. Make sure you go follow them. Support Connect for a Cause as well. Incredible, just organization, but incredible cause. No pun intended, for what they're doing with that. So make sure you get involved, check in with them. One more time for Lake Hickory Pub Marina, where Lake and Life meet, for allowing us to film here. But most importantly, well, two things. Hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, lift love, crush hate. And until next time, we out.